Hi YouTube subscribers and new friends and people who are just stopping by to say, hey, let's check this channel out and what she has to say about phobias. So this is part 2 of obviously my part 1 of talking about like my phobias in my car. And now I'm on the floor in my bathroom because this is the only place I can escape to right now without noise. So bear with me if you hear little people sounds in the background. So like yesterday I bleached my hair. So like if you missed part 1, I have an allergy phobia. I think that I'm going to have like this massive allergic reaction from new things or things that already exist. So one of my biggest ones is like hair color or hair dye or even my hair bleach. So hair bleach doesn't have PPD in it, which causes a lot of people to have allergic reactions. So that's probably why I bleach my hair more than color it. I did not put a toner on my hair because my toners have PPD in it, so this is just bleach. However, bleach is like hair bleach is like not like something that's actually safe to put on your head. It's just normal to put it on your head. So is it like safe to do? No, probably not. But is it created to put on your scalp and to lighten your hair? Yes. So, I mean, relatively speaking, it's safe because I'm using it for what it's used for, but the chemicals that are in this hair dye are not safe. So like this big container of bleach is what I use on my hair. So if you look at all of the ingredients, I mean, I'm not gonna like go through all of them, but they're not healthy ingredients. I mean, if you can't ingest it, then it's just not healthy. So anyway, back to my point is that my phobias basically control my life and what I do and what I don't do on a daily basis. They used to be a lot worse. I used to have like a phobia of choking on drinking water or like any kind of beverages. Yes, that is absolutely true. So I'm like, okay, how can I drink water but not drown, right? So that was like in my head. So I actually got dehydrated so badly at work that I almost like had to go to the hospital. I had to like literally force water down my throat because I thought I was gonna choke and die and drown on my water or my iced tea that I was drinking. Yeah. So my phobias got way out of control in my 20s. And I was also suffering from food allergies that didn't exist. I've never been allergic to any food in my life, but I started to avoid foods because I thought that I was just going to be allergic to them all. So there was very little things that I was eating, and I got down to like 89 pounds. It's not because I wanted to lose weight. I mean, it was nice to lose weight, but I didn't need to lose any weight, and I looked very sick. And when I look at photos from back then, I mean, like my head looked so large on top of my body, and I was completely out of proportion. But like, for example, I wouldn't eat things with nuts in it. I wouldn't eat seafood, and I still don't eat seafood. If somebody I knew had an allergy of, let's say, like pickles, I wouldn't eat pickles. If I knew somebody who had an allergy of, like zucchini, I wouldn't eat zucchini. If I knew somebody who had an allergy of strawberries, I wouldn't eat strawberries. So I'm to the point now where I just kind of like eat the same things every day, and I won't eat like new foods. I won't ever try new foods or like new spices or anything like that. So it does kind of like restrict what I eat, and like my phobias kind of dictate like my menu, like my daily menu, but it's not that big of a deal because I'm not a big eater. So if I was like a chef or somebody who had to be a big eater, I would definitely be in trouble because my job would be at stake. So because this isn't causing me any dysfunction, I can eat things that are kind of scary. Like this morning I had a granola bar, and on the label it says may contain traces of peanuts or tree nuts or all the above. And if I eat it without reading the label or without thinking about it, I'll be okay. But if I start thinking about it like I could right now, I might not be that great. So I'm just not going to think about it, right? So I just pretend that the label isn't there. Like it just doesn't exist. Like, I mean, I've had like so many of these granola bars, right? So it's like, I think I'm going to be okay. But like with fruits and stuff, I've had blackberries before. My mom always made blackberry pies. But I have blackberries in the refrigerator and I'm not eating them. But then I'll eat raspberries. So I'm just like, well, the blackberries look kind of like more poisonous, right? Like, what if they are poisonous and we just don't know it? That's what goes on in my head. So it's just irrational thoughts that are made up by myself and my brain. And I believe that it's biology as well, because my phobias started way before I even know what a phobia was. I mean, I didn't even know what anxiety was. I was like 3 years old when my behavior started to cause dysfunction in my life. And I paid attention to myself because nobody else paid attention to me. And I started noticing patterns in my everyday life that caused dysfunction. So you're like, okay, how could you actually know that you have a phobia at like 3 or 4 years old? Well, the first one that I've noticed was that my father owned a machine shop, and there were like poison like marks all over the things that were poison. Like some of the hand soaps were like really poisonous. So my dad would put like the skull and crossbones on there with marker and put poison, don't touch. Like, and so just because I was around that box that said poison on it, I would think that I was contaminated. I literally thought my whole entire body was contaminated with poison, and then I would go ahead and wash my hands for like an hour and then tell my dad I needed to go home and take a bath. Nobody noticed it except me. And then it just started getting worse and worse and worse. For example, like my grandma would buy me a new pair of shoes. And you know those cute little jelly shoes that we had in the 80s? They were just so cute. And I just got a new pair, and I was walking on the driveway and I stepped in a puddle of oil from the car. I automatically thought that the oil was poison, because it is, and that it was going to soak through my shoe and then soak into my skin and kill me. So what did I do with the shoe? Or both of them? I threw them in the trash. So this kept on happening. So every time my shoes would disappear, my grandma would say, "Where's your shoes? What happened to your shoes?" And I would say, "I don't know." Like any kid would say, right? Well, she noticed that my shoes were missing, and she kept on buying me like a new pair of shoes like every week. But nobody ever caught on. It was just that I thought that if I stepped in something like gasoline or oil, that it was contaminating my whole entire body and my space and my breathing and everything. So that's when I noticed that there was something definitely different about myself. And I didn't know what it was called, and it was very frustrating because I was stuck in this little tiny body with this big brain, right? So how did I get through my phobia yesterday? And this happened, this was like serendipity, right? So when I need to calm down and I need to get things done, what I do is I go on YouTube and I like type in phobia coping techniques, or I'll go like anxiety relief, and I'll listen to like a guided meditation. But this time I used one of my own subscriptions that I subscribe to, and his name is Sadhguru. So that's Sadhguru. So that's Sadhguru. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, so I apologize to the people who speak his language. But there's a video titled "Troubled by Fear?" ? Again, it's "Troubled by Fear?" ? Just changed the channel. And that's what the video is called. So you might want to write that down. So again, I'll say it. "Troubled by Fear?" ? Just changed the channel. So what he says is there's a guy telling him, I'm having all this anxiety. I can't deal with it anymore. How am I supposed to deal with these thoughts? How am I supposed to get rid of them? So he said, "Are you in fear all day?" And he said, "No." And he goes, "No, you're not in fear all day." And then he goes, "When you're not in fear, just stay like that." And I was like, how can something so simple be so profound, right? So I'm just like, no, I'm not in fear right now. Usually I am because I have chronic anxiety, but when you're not in fear, just stay like that. I thought it was brilliant. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not in fear right now. I'm going to do my hair. I'm going to go bleach my hair, and I'm not going to have an allergic reaction because I'm not allergic to my bleach, right? And then he says, you cannot overcome something which does not exist, right? So I'm like, how am I supposed to get over this fear of my allergic reactions that I'm so afraid of? Well, I can't overcome something that doesn't exist. And I thought that was just brilliant. And then he says, because to create fear, you have to use your imagination to do that. So just don't do it. Change the channel, right? And then this part just really gets me going. I love this. I love philosophy. To not be in fear, you don't have to do anything. Just think about that for a few seconds. To not be in fear, you don't have to do anything because you haven't drawn up this catastrophic thinking yet. Isn't that amazing? So you have to create what might happen. But 99% of your catastrophic thinking doesn't happen. So the way I bleached my hair yesterday and the way I got through it without feeling intense anxiety was due to this video that I watched. And it really changed the way I was able to manage myself during my lightening process. I know this is like actually ridiculous, but I mean, using, chemicals and, powder bleach, thinking about having asthma attack, even though I don't have asthma. I mean, I have to create that in my head in order for it to disturb me. So what did I do? I changed the channel, and I wasn't in fear, so I stayed like that. And for me not to be in fear, I didn't have to do anything because I wasn't turning my imagination on. I did take more medication than usual. I do take Xanax, so I took an extra 0.5 milligrams, which is half of a 1 milligram pill. And I was able to just focus on my breathing and focus on how good my hair was going to look at the end instead of worrying about what was going to happen while I was bleaching my hair. I know this sounds crazy for people that don't have any phobias or anything, but for people that do, I know that this makes a whole load of sense, and I hope that you find that video, and I hope maybe it can work for you. And he has a whole bunch of other different videos that are just amazing, and he's just awesome to listen to. I'm actually gonna buy like his books when I get around to finding the right one. But anyways, I just wanted to update you with part 2, and then I will do a part 3 about the loose ends that I didn't cover in this video. I'd like to keep them short so that your attention span doesn't kind of like, you know, go off into a different land, right? So thank you for joining me in my bathroom, and I will be talking to you next time on part 3. Thank you.